Pisces, what do we need to know for you? We're going to have a look at what messages are coming in. This is for you if you're Pisces Sun, Moon, Rising or Venus. We're looking at love life. We're looking at work life, destiny, or any messages that may just be coming through for you just because and we don't know why. We've got birds fighting in the sky. We've got cats lying on the bed. Look at that. All is well. We're ready to rumble. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. 2 overall energy cards. Nice. We've got Page of Wands and we've got the Queen of Cups. And they're kind of staring at each other, but they don't seem very connected to me. They're not connected by element because he's fire and she's water. They're not really connected by action. He's like got his big stick, ready to do something. She is much more yin and staring into the cup as if to think, well, what's next? What can we do next? What's happening with this? Okay, cool. You as a Pisces obviously are the Queen of Cups. You're always operating on this basis. I'm a Pisces too. Pisces is an incredibly yin sign, quite passive in energy. Obviously, you know that being a Pisces. Okay. The Page of Wands can also represent somebody who's a bit younger than you. It can also represent your young side, something trying to get out, some kind of expression that's trying to be made. I don't know what the birds are doing, they're going nuts. We've got the 9 of Pentacles. This is a card of being independent, having your own money, generating your own wealth, being emotionally independent. So in relationships, knowing where your boundaries are, where you end, where the other person begins. In finance and in your work life, this is you possibly considering a side hustle or a self-employment, being your own boss. A lot of Pisceans walk a really strange line at work between working for other people, but ultimately never really having a boss, never really feeling like you belong in anywhere that's got that many kind of rules to it. Most Pisceans fear the clocking in machine. Leave me a comment about that because I'd be really interested to know. I know when I worked at a place like that, I don't know if the universe was just like had my back, but for some reason my sort of group of people never had to clock in. And whenever I used to see people like clocking in, clocking out, I didn't like the feeling that gave me. And you don't either, I don't think. We got the sun, which is gorgeous. Radiance, luck, energy coming in, but also yang energy. Some of you may be dealing with a fire sign person, either at work, in your life, in your love life. Fire sign people might be important. Okay. Yeah, more fire. A situation seems to be bubbling up where, and it's quite tricky for a Piscean, where you are required to stick up for yourself to show who you are, which for a Pisces to stick your head above the parapet is quite unusual and a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. Not always your bag to do that, is it, Pisces? We've got the 7 of Wands, which is Mars in Leo, and it's a card of defense. There are people holding all the other ones, sort of coming at this person. They've got a big stick, which they had in the beginning here, and now they're using it to defend themselves. But people are pinning you. People are saying, where do you stand? What do you believe in? Sometimes this can take the form of somebody goading you, somebody triggering you until you react. This most likely happens in closer relationships or work relationships because we are, I don't know, it's something you rarely, well, you can do it to a stranger. Occasionally that happens. You know, when you're at, I don't know, a gathering of some sort and somebody just seems to be pushing you about something that they really should be dropping. It's that energy. And often people do it to Pisceans, and leave me a comment about this because I'll be very interested to know your thoughts, because I think Pisceans are passive. Therefore, you're not always voicing your thoughts. You're not always putting your opinions forward. You don't have a lot of ego as a Piscean, which isn't to say that you're a saint, because nobody is. And it's not good or bad. It's just that as a Pisces, the ego naturally dissolves as the 12th sign of the Zodiac. And you don't feel the need to stand up and be counted. In fact, you'd like to sit down and be left out. You know, it's like the opposite of standing up and being counted. But somebody, and this could be in your romantic relationships, somebody wants to know where they stand, where you stand, where it all is. Lay it out for me. Let's have a look at your work life, okay? So we started off anyway with the Hierophant that went with the Seven of Wands. And this can be a layer of hierarchy with the Hierophant. It can also be things you have to get done. People in authority making sure you do them. The machine. You know, it can be the hierarchy at work. It feels like you're... There used to be a band called Rage Against the Machine, and it feels like you are pushing against a convention of some kind. So it may be that you don't want the 9 to 5, you don't want to clock in, you don't want any more to do a job that you're doing, or you don't want to do it in the way that you were doing it. So you're making a bid for freedom, you know, running for the hills. And then we've got the Queen of Swords. We already have you as the Queen of Cups over here. The Queen of Swords is somebody who has extremely good boundaries, but also for you could be somebody who slightly wants to stand in your way for some reason. They don't necessarily want you to be that free spirit, and that's fair enough. You know, for some people, they stand by and they watch you doing it and they're not necessarily into it. You may have a bit of a crossroads coming up for you in your working environment, where what used to fly doesn't, and where you're kind of, let me show you the cards, where you're wanting more personal autonomy, more freedom of expression. And sometimes you can shoehorn that into the job you've already got, or there's opportunities or like-minded people. And sometimes you can't, and you have to either create it as a side hustle, or you got to find a different employment or way of earning money, okay? These things are coming up for you and you might wish that they weren't, which is fair enough because it's a bit inconvenient. But you're no longer going to be able to settle, Pisces. You will feel like you've got itchy jumper syndrome. Let's have a look at your destiny. What is that card? Okay. That card wants to, oh God, that card wants to be known. It's the Six of Cups, okay? I'm going to put it back in and shuffle. We'll see what we see. There will be an extended reading to this, as there is every month. In the extended, we take the love cards, which are coming up in a minute, and we do an extended love reading. So we take out the cards, well, we use the cards off this reading, and we use decks that I can't use on YouTube anymore. And we dig around and we ask, how do they feel about you? What is the situation? What is really going on? I have a feeling there's going to be quite a lot to say for yours. Two cards have just turned themselves over. Okay, these are your destiny and sort of life purpose cards. And that one, oh, nice. Let's just zoom out a little bit. There we go. Right, okay. So we've got the Eight of Wands over here. We've got the Five of Swords over here. The Eight of Wands is a card of communication, saying what you feel and putting it out there, but also momentum. So if your life has been a little bit on hold, or it's been a little bit draggy, you know, you've been feeling like you're stuck in a bit of a rut, which for a Piscean, it's like a fish where the water's run out. You know, you start flapping and you want to be in flow. This is saying that something is coming in which is going to shift something. It could be a conversation, it could be an email that you've written with a reply coming back. It can be in your love life where you've spoken, someone's talking, there's a big conversation. Either way, it's a very fortuitous card. It's nice to get the 8 wands because 8s are dynamic. They mean movement, but also communication and growth because we've got all these gorgeous buds that are on the wands, okay? Something is swelling, I was going to say something is swelling and something is growing. It's like, we're not in the love section yet, Gemma. Something is coming to a head. I just can't. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. It just seems sometimes I drop into a Benny Hill hole and I can't get out of it. Yeah, it's even worse as it is. Right, there's communication coming your way. Let's leave it there. Right, 5 of Swords, Venus in Aquarius. This is a bit like you're playing a game but you don't know the rules. There's a lot of manoeuvring. I call it the kind of chessboard card, you know, where people are moving things into position. It can be a bit passag, you know, when somebody isn't saying how they feel, or they're kind of, what is the word? People are trying to outsmart each other, outwit each other, but not actually put their cards on the table. There's a very subtle game going on here. This could be at work, it could be in your love life, or all of the above, where you can feel something's happening. You can feel some kind of change, but at the same time, you can't put your finger on it. Then we have the Page of Cups with the Wheel of Fortune. Very, very nice indeed. Page of Cups, again, it's initiating something beginning that has emotional value. It can be an apology, someone coming forward, it can be someone asking you out. It's just the beginning stages of curiosity. But the page turns into the knight, turns into the queen and the king, and just has that element of making something develop that's emotional. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is a great card to get, especially right under the sun. It feels like you're tapping into a vein of luck that you haven't had for quite some time. Maybe about 6 months that you've been flailing around like a fish on the deck with no water, okay? I like this for you. It feels like a breath of fresh air. You know, I feel like for Pisces, it's been overly complicated in the last few months. It has been for most signs actually, but for Pisces in particular, the readings have been a bit difficult. Let's have a look at your love life. Oh my God. Well, that's nice. Lovely Pisces, you get the Ace of Cups. Straight out, Ace of Cups. You put the phone down first. No, you put the phone down first. I love everything about you. Ace of Cups, gorgeous, obviously gorgeous, gorgeous card. The Dove from above, we've got the lily pad. It's a water sign card anyway. But it also is self-love and pure love and innocence and the new beginning that you've been looking for. This is really, really, really decent. Nice. We get it with the Emperor, the card of the initiator, the card of Yang, the card of fire again. So it could be dealing with a fire sign or dealing with passion. This is someone who is definite, passionate, and fiery. I like this. I like the confidence of it. I like the initiation of it. I like the fact that they're stepping forward. Oh, hang on. Something's gone on the floor. And then this guy comes along and says, oof, not so fast, Nelly. Be sensible. This is like the health and safety officer stepping in. But we don't mind that actually, because if we look at the cards as a whole, we have talked about the Hierophant, who's up here, who is all about where are the borders, where are the edges, what are the rules, what is the hierarchy. And then we have the Emperor, who is also about the hierarchy, but I'm the ruler, I'm at the top, I'm making this happen. And we've got the Queen of Swords, so someone who's saying you ought to know where your boundaries are at the same time. So while you're full of love and all this yay, zippity-doo-dah and chicka-chicka, because you've got loads of woof and you've got loads of fire, at the same time you also need to know what your boundaries are and where your line is, because there's going to be a fine line between someone crossing that and you kind of wanting to be there. It's really hard to explain that. Let's take a couple more cards. You need to be a little bit on your guard is what I'm saying. Not for a bad reason, but just because, and I'm getting channeled to me, remember what happened last time. Oh yes, gosh, these are nice. Okay, so we get the High Priestess and we get Temperance coming in. I mean, that's a bit glorious. Both of these are feminine archetypes. The High Priestess I really do associate with Pisces anyway, because the High Priestess is all about energy from within, taking that energy from within and making sure that you're very much not just in touch with your intuition, but you're living out your intuition. So when it comes to your love life, Pisces, this Ace of Cups, this gorgeous feeling, this Wheel of Fortune, this Emperor, this feeling of something building and something rising and that kind of swept away. You could be swept away by somebody here. I think they call it swept off your feet, don't they? And that is wonderful, but you do have to kind of know where to land. And also just make sure things aren't moving too fast. This could be that you've just met someone and you're really keen on them, or you have a first date with somebody and you feel like you've known them a lifetime. You feel like you want it all to happen now. It can be, if you're already in a relationship, a resurgence of passion, you know, like the wave is coming up again. It's got a lot of energy behind it and I really like it. It's just the universe is saying, don't get completely swept away. Have an anchor, because I'm a great believer in saying that Pisces' boundaries are not straight lines at all, because nothing about Pisces would be a straight line. The boundary for you, for me, it's like a rope swaying in the sea with a big cast iron rusty anchor on the bottom of it. Then we have Temperance. Temperance is just one of the nicest cards, apart from the Sun, which is what it's resting on this particular reading. Temperance, Sagittarius energy, Jupiter energy, which is one of your co-rulers. But it's just showing you as well that in your love life, and actually I reckon in all areas of your life, if you go with the flow, which is a very Piscean thing to say, but you have enough caution, it's like really enjoying riding a bike, but wearing a cycle helmet. Okay, let's have some love oracle cards. In the extended reading, I'm going to look at the Ace of Cups and the Emperor, but I'm also going to draw you a whole love reading with a different deck. I'm going to ask about your person. How do they feel about you? I'm going to ask about the relationship, the shadow side, and the best way forward. We're going to see if anything is hidden from view that we need to know about. Okay, let's have a love card for you. Oh my God. This is one of those decks where it just... Oh, it's so funny that that would come up, isn't it? It's one of those decks that keeps spawning cards at night, you know? I think, oh my God, I've never seen that one before. Ooh, you get Apology. Let's hold them up one by one. Hi, Valentine. You get Val having a wash. Where's Leia gone? Oh, she's still there. Apology. So do you remember when you got the Page of Cups? That can be a card of somebody apologising. So that's always nice, as long as you're on the receiving end of it. Nobody likes giving an apology that much. That's not very pleasant. Pisceans don't like apologising. Leave me a comment about that. Never underestimate the power of an apology. So it could be you having to do it. We get together, which is gorgeous. Find joy in the simple pleasure of being together. And then we get boundaries. Oh, yes, we do. Love may challenge your boundaries. Protect them. And surprise. Now, this is nice. Prepare for a surprise that challenges and empowers you in equal measure. And I will be looking at that definitely in the extended reading. Right, I'm going to go and do that now. The cats are going to settle in for round 2. It's the first link in the description box. Leave me a comment and I'll see you on the other side. Namaste.